How's it going, everybody? It's Mike from PC Classic Cars back with another virtual description. Today I'm going to talk about my 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1. This is a vehicle I bought from a private individual up in Washington State. He owned the vehicle, he told me, about 5 years and was actually the one that did a lot of the work or had a lot of the work done to it. It is a really cool Mach 1 and actually one of my more favorite Fords that we've had roll through the shop here recently. The driveline that's in it, it is the numbers matching M code 351 Cleveland. It runs excellent. It's more of a stock style motor than anything, nothing crazy high performance, but it does run really well. It is backed by a 4-speed manual transmission. The clutch feels great, shifts up through the gears, down through the gears with no problems whatsoever. This was originally a 3-speed car, but they did swap it to a 4-speed at some point, which does not hurt my feelings at all. Going from a 3-speed to a 4-speed is always a big bonus for me. This one does still retain the original manual steering and manual 4-wheel drums. Both of those perform great, and if you wanted to upgrade them over time, you definitely could. There's kits out there to do both. If I was going to do anything, I would buy a power front disc brake conversion. That is personal preference. The manual currently performs great, doesn't need to be done, just little things to do. For me, I always like having power front disc brakes. This one does have a bunch of aftermarket, really nice performance style suspension. In the front, you do have a full Global West tubular upper and lower control arm setup, and then you do have an aftermarket set of coilovers. Performs great going down the road. You do have obviously a stiffer ride with that Global West suspension. I've personally put that stuff on a bunch of old cars over the years. The Global West company does great work. Their products are awesome. So I do really like the Global West suspension that's on this Mach 1. It, again, drives great. You do retain an original set of manifolds, dual exhaust, H-pipe Flowmaster mufflers. Make sure you check out my test drive video. I'll dive into more of the mechanicals. You'll see me driving the vehicle down the road, 9-10 minutes long. Again, I'll talk about how the road feel is, how it shifts, all that good stuff. So more information in that test drive video. It will be posted on my website, pcclassiccars.com. Make sure you check that out. Again, a lot of good information in there. On my Does It Work section, it is a really well-sorted car. A couple very small things aren't working. The rim blow steering wheel is not doing anything. I did not diagnose it. I don't know if it's just not hooked up or if the rim blow needs to be rebuilt. I don't know exactly what is wrong, but the horn doesn't work. The reverse lights aren't doing anything. Probably either bulbs or a bad wire setup. Maybe when they switched it from a 3-speed to a 4-speed, they didn't hook up the reverse lights. Again, relatively easy thing to fix. And then your wipers and washer sprayer fluids don't do anything. So again, about an afternoon or a weekend's worth of work to fix those 3 things. Nothing too terribly difficult. Make sure you check out my Does It Work section. It is going to be posted on my website in multiple places. If you scroll through all of the photos of the vehicle, at the end, you will see the screenshot of the Does It Work section. Or if you click on my additional infos tab, which is going to be below the photo set, you'll see the 3 links: the test drive, the virtual description, which is what you're watching, and then it will have the additional infos tab. You'll see more photos of a bunch of the imperfections, the Marty report, all of the extra photos that I want my customers to see. The Does It Work section will be in there as well. During my normal inspection on this one, I didn't find any current leaks, but with any old car, I always tell all of my customers, the vehicle might be dry today underneath. You go drive it some. Those seals, they shrink, they expand. You could very well develop a little drip here and there from multiple different places. You could get a differential drip, transmission, motor, steering. It's just a multitude of different things on old cars. You're going to get little drips and little seeps from time to time. I always talk about your normal classic car, little seeps, and then you have problematic leaks. When they start leaking and leave big puddles, that's when you're going to want to replace some seals. Again, this one right now is very nice and dry on the bottom, but there's no way for me to predict if it's ever going to start dripping something at some point. All of the suspension, all of your bushings, all that stuff is in great shape. The front suspension recently was redone by the previous customer, so all of it basically looks brand new. And everything else on the underneath checked out great. It does have a 1-inch lowering block in the rear to kind of bring the suspension down just a little bit, gives it that aggressive look. On the exterior, it was repainted, or the previous owner had the vehicle repainted a number of years ago. The color code is S, which is medium gold metallic. I think it is an excellent looking color on those cars. It's just a nice change of pace from your reds, blacks, whites that you see on these cars a lot of the time. I think the gold metallic is just, again, a good, unique color. Whoever did the paint work did a really nice job. The body work looks nice. At some point, both of the rear quarters were replaced. Again, I would say they did a nice job. They did professional work from everything that I can see. So the body is nice and solid. There's no bad body work, no bubbles showing through in the paint. Paint quality, again, is nice and deep. It shows well. And again, I just really like the color that's on the car. You do have your staggered set of 15-inch Magnums with good tires on it. I think it's a great look for the Mach 1s. You can always go with a torque thrust style wheel if you want to, but I think the Magnum 500s are a great option on any fastback or any Mustang. All of your glass and all of your trim is in good shape. Some of the trim pieces, there's a few little scuffs, but nothing that is egregious. All of the trim does show nice. Same thing with the glass. There's a few small little scuffs, but nothing that's terrible. On my interior, you do have your factory code 3A, which is your black high back bucket seat interior that the Mach 1s would have came with. Obviously, they came in a multitude of different colors, but for me, the black is probably my favorite color on the interior. I love that the way that the seats sit. You have your center console, your floor shifter. Just overall, the interior is very nice. The door panels, the dash, upper and lower, all of the gauges, the headliner and the visors. Also, the back seat. Everything is just really clean on the interior. There's nothing for me to really nitpick at all. Engine bay really falls into that same category. Everything is very sanitary and very clean. There's nothing that's out of place or nothing missing in the engine bay. It shows very well. It's nice and detailed. So it just shows like a really crisp and a well done engine bay. On your underneath, it is a very solid car. The one spot that I found, the passenger side front floor pan was replaced. Probably done at the same time that the rear quarters were done. Nice work was done. It shows well. Obviously, you'll see the photos during this video. You can also check out the photo set on my website, pcclassiccars.com. If you need more photos of that specific area, I can get those for you. I can attach them in the additional infos tab. But again, no rust issues, just a nice solid car underneath and very original outside of that one front pan on the passenger side being replaced. Most likely was a heater core leaking at one point, got a little bit of rust in that front floor pan, and they replaced it. They used a correct pan, and it shows very, very well, and it's all uniform on the bottom. So nothing, again, for me to really complain about. The exhaust also shows really nice. And again, I've touched on the front suspension. All that stuff looks relatively new. The previous guy that we got the car from, he was the one that had all that done within the last couple of years, and it shows great. Overall, it is a really cool and an excellent driving Mach 1. If y'all have followed my videos, you know that I'm a Ford fanatic. My personal collection is filled with Fords. As you can see, I have my Ford Torino on the wall back here behind me. Just a really cool Mach 1. I love that it's got a 4-speed in it, being that it's got a Cleveland motor. It's a great motor, runs great. The Global West suspension and the coilovers, nice expensive additions to the car, and it makes it drive a whole lot better than a stock one. There's really not a lot to do on this car outside of fixing a couple of the small little things that are not working. I would also suggest adding a vintage heat and AC setup to it at some point, but that's not required. That's a personal preference. I always like to have AC in my old cars. It is a little bit of an expensive endeavor. You're probably $4,500 to $5,500 if you're going to drop it off at a shop to have the vintage AC installed, but you're usually getting all your money back as far as adding value to the car when you do add a vintage AC set to them. So again, touching on everything, just a really, really good Mach 1, something that I would personally own in my collection if it was factory black. All of my cars are black, so I can't own this one myself to keep, but a 69 or a 70 Mach 1 in factory black with a factory 4-speed or even an upgraded 5-speed is on my list of cars to get for my personal collection. So this car kind of tugs at my heartstrings a little bit just because I am the Ford guy here. And just, again, a really, really cool Mach 1. As always, I appreciate y'all stopping in to watch another one of my virtual descriptions. Make sure you check out that test drive video. It's got a lot of good information in there that I didn't touch on in this video. My additional infos tab, that's also going to have photos of the smaller imperfections on the car. It's really, really minor stuff. The paint is very nice. It's just got a couple small little imperfections that you'll see in those photos. Again, test drive video, this virtual description, and the additional infos tab are going to be posted on the website, pcclassiccars.com. I appreciate y'all stopping in to watch this virtual description, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of y'all's day.